Hello, it's me again, Mr. Roach, for another guitar lesson. This is guitar lesson number 10 in our series, and the topic for today is tuning. Kind of strange to have tuning later in a series of guitar instructional videos, but here we are, tuning. So what are we going to do? We're going to define what is tuning. We're going to talk about how that definition applies to this instrument, the guitar. We're going to talk about some devices that can help aid in the process of tuning, and then we'll walk through the process of tuning, probably with the most common and easy method, but at least to mention or somewhat illustrate other methods as well. Let's get started. Tuning, what is that? Tuning, or the action to tune, refers to toward a musical instrument fixing a frequency pitch to a particular frequency pitch. So frequency. So we're talking about vibrations per second, particularly. The faster a sound vibrates, the higher its pitch, and the slower its frequency, that sound vibrates, it's lower its pitch. We see that wonderfully illustrated on the guitar through slower vibrating strings generating a lower pitch or frequency, and likewise the faster vibrating strings illustrating a higher vibrating pitch or frequency. So we have 6 strings on the guitar, and what does that mean? So currently, of the 6 strings, they all receive, according to standard tuning, a particular frequency pitch for each and every of those strings. Those can receive letter names, also particular numerical values for those frequencies, which I'm not going to get into at this time, but at least to, for simplicity's sake, define what are the letter names. For example, starting with the first string, its letter is E, second string B, third string G, fourth string D, fifth string A, sixth string, another E. Okay? E, B, G, D, A, E. When learning to tune the guitar, it's helpful to learn or memorize those letter names per string, or at least have an aid or have those written for you to help remember. So how do we tune on a guitar? What's going on? This guitar is pretty well in tune with those letter names that I just told you. With that tuning, it allows the guitar to basically sound good. For example, if I play some chords, a chord pattern, if I tune these tuning pegs in some different directions, it will change the tension, change the frequency pitches of these strings. I'll play the same chord pattern now. My guitar is now out of tune. Let's listen. Oh, music to my ears. It sounds different. Some would say it sounds bad. Kind of depends on your ear, but now the guitar is out of tune. So the action required to correct that is tuning, to tune the guitar to the correct sounds, the correct frequency pitches. For tuning a guitar then, when you tighten the tension on your tuning pegs, you'll raise the pitch. If you, on the other side, loosen the tension, you'll decrease or lower the pitch. Okay. So probably the most common helpful device, especially for beginners to learn to tune, is an electric tuner. Here's a really common one on the market made by Snark. And this is a particular, I think a relatively new thing to my understanding, to where it will pick up the sounds through frequency vibrations from the wood on the guitar. So it will clamp and hold on to the head of the guitar, and without using a microphone, it detects the pitch coming from each string sound just from the vibrations that are resonating through the wood of the guitar. So let's turn it on to see how this works. That button to turn it on. Okay, so now I'm gonna start, I like to start with my 6th string. I'm gonna pluck its string and see what it sounds like. Okay, currently it says C sharp. Okay, now it should be an E. The 6th string we said should be the letter E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep plucking it. If you're not sure which way to tune, to turn the tuning peg, remember if it's harder to tune the peg, generally you're tightening the tension. And if it's easier to tune it, you're probably loosening the tension. So think in relation to the musical alphabet, C, to get closer to the one we want, E, we would go forward. A, B, C, D, E. So I'm gonna go forward, which means we're raising the pitch. Now it's a D. Look at the readout. I believe this is all backwards, but it says E. And, okay. Kind of twisting my mind. There we go. It looks like a 3 from our point of view. E. So on this tuner, it says E, and more or less it has this kind of light blue color. It's okay if it flashes a little bit of red and yellow, as long as it basically holds on that light blue and the letter name. That string is supposed to be in tune, okay? I keep plucking the string as I continue to turn the peg, so it continues to get a strong, accurate sound to the tuner. Let's tune the other strings. The 5th string. Now the 5th string should be the letter A. It says G sharp currently. So G is pretty close to A on the musical alphabet. So we go forward in the alphabet, which means start over. We're 1 letter away. Tighten. So it's moving. There's A. We want it to have that light blue. There we go. That's holding. Okay. 4th string is D. It says C sharp. That's 1 letter away from D. We go forward in the alphabet, tighten it. Here we go. D, solid blue. 4th string, or 3rd string is D, or excuse me, G. 3rd string is G. It says F sharp. That's 1 letter away, so tighten it. Closer, closer. There we go. Okay, G. 2nd string should be B. It says A, so make it B. That's right next to that letter in the alphabet. A sharp, getting closer. B, give me the light blue. Pretty well. Okay, finally, the 1st string, which is E. It says D sharp. We're really close. There we go. Again, I'm going to repeat E. Now, I already tuned the 6th string, C, but it's off again. It's giving us red. That's not uncommon sometimes for some guitars, that after you tune all the strings, you might have to retune some of them again, particularly if some of them were way off where they should have been. So I'm going to briefly do some of those again. Okay, we'll call that good. Back to that 1st chord pattern. Not perfect, but much better than it was when it was out of tune. There's definitely some other methods. I don't think I'll go into quite at this time, but that's the primary and most easy one. It's not required that a beginner guitar player buys a device like this, but these are helpful. The Snark ones are decent. There are free-to-use apps on many mobile devices. There are free-to-use apps on computers, PC and Mac, that work great. and that are very visual and easy to understand and manage. But there's a lot else that goes into tuning the guitar. That's the basic method. One last thing to caution you toward. As you tune your guitar, it is possible that you might break a string. How do you know how at risk you are of breaking a string? Well, be mindful if you keep turning the string and it's not getting the letter name you want, you might be turning it the wrong way. Specifically, if you tighten it and tighten, if you keep tightening the tension of this metal wire, this guitar string, you're just gonna break the metal at some point. You're gonna break the string. So just be cautious. If you suspect maybe I'm turning it too tight, just put on the brakes and caution, maybe consider loosening it. See if that'll get you closer to the letter name of note that you want, okay? That's it at this time for tuning. Have a great day.